honestly, the biggest thing that we've really doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on is the local collaborations. It wasn't a bed and breakfast. It was a breakfast in bed. People loved it.
Breakfast delivery.
Breakfast delivery. You know, a lot of great inventors, they say, when your mind's still, when you're relaxed, and you're not trying to force an idea, ideas kind of come to you. The biggest thing isn't about just mass producing. It's, you know, how do we keep elevating quality every step of the way?
Beautiful answer.
And
I love that.
That's the hardest thing about, you know, starting a company, an organization, a business, is selling that vision. Once you turn 10, 11, some chemical reaction happens in the brain and the body. And when you eat mayonnaise, you're on cloud 9. Like, this wouldn't be replicatable in 99.9% of places, and we're just so lucky to have stumbled upon St. Pete.
Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to Talkin St. Pete. I'm your host, Ryan Bogden. This podcast is all about the wonderful things that make St. Petersburg, Florida, a great place to work, live, and play. And before I get into today's amazing guest, I want to let you know this podcast is sponsored by Bogden Homes here at Keller Williams St. Pete. If you need anything in the home world, we're here to help you. Or if you're a great agent that needs a great brokerage to be at, we're also here to help you with that. And now on to my awesome guest. It's an honor and privilege to do this, again, with the same company, but a different founding member and marketing connoisseur, professional, marketing genius, Morgan Zook.
Hey, I appreciate that. Marketing genius. I love that. Thank you so much for that intro.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped to be on here with you. You know, when I saw you doing the episode with Grant about 3.5 years ago, I'm like, I'm excited to go on there one day.
Dude, Grant was one of the first, I think we were within the first 30 episodes. And now I just was telling you, that episode is the third most watched episode on YouTube.
Let's go. Well, I'm sorry, Grant. You might be going down. Come on, let's go.
Well, we've grown since then. You guys have grown since then. And obviously, you've been there since day one. Yeah. And you are, I would try, you know, the word I didn't use was guerrilla marketing expert. From the day one, you guys have crushed the guerrilla marketing. So, Morgan, but you know, we want to talk all things Gateway. You guys now have 6 locations. You're crushing. I don't know anyone who's a real St. Petian, I think that's a word we came up with on another episode, that doesn't know Gateway subs. And you guys crowned better than the public sub.
Poop subs.
I haven't heard that yet. Sorry, that one really got me. So what's been going on since Grant was on to now? Like, fill us in. What's happening?
So he was on about 3 years and 2 months ago. I think it was actually February, like 11th or so, maybe February 9th.
You got it dialed in. You're better than me.
One of those dates. And a lot has happened. At that point, we're at 2 locations. We opened up in Kenwood, November 8th, 2021. Then we opened up a year later in Pasadena, November 8th, 2022. And now 6 locations. We're growing throughout the Bay. But honestly, the biggest thing that we've really doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on is the local collaborations. And, you know, at that point when Grant was on, we had a couple collaborations going on. Nothing too crazy, but now I like to think we're the collab kings.
I think you are.
That's something that, you know, we're just trying to dive super deep, just be everywhere in town at once, and then also just have those partnerships really benefiting the businesses, organizations, charities that are working with us. Because, you know, our motto is you got to give before you ever ask for anything in return. And that's been a key pillar of what we're trying to do here in this great city.
Dude, you're a great spokesman for the company. And so who came up with legalized mayonnaise?
So that was me. Probably around the time Grant was on, maybe a little before that. One night I was on mayonnaise, we'll put it like that.
Yeah.
And the idea just came to me, that'd be funny to put on a shirt. And it's one of those things where I wear it every single day because people just always ask me about it. Yeah. I always have discount cards in my pocket, whether they love the shirt or hate it. It's like, oh, here's a discount card. Check out my business. And, you know, mayonnaise is very polarizing. Some people are all on board. Some people aren't.
I'm an off-board guy.
Yeah, okay. That's okay. We respect you.
On mayonnaise.
Yeah.
On mayonnaise. I don't like that white creamy stuff in my sandwich.
No worries. When was the last time you tried it?
Oh, dude, I don't need to.
Oh, so the thing is, once you turn like 10, 11 years old, if you had a bad mayonnaise experience at 5, once you turn 10, 11, some chemical reaction happens in the brain and the body. And when you eat mayonnaise, you're on cloud 9.
They say every 7 years your taste buds change. So maybe I should give it another go. But just for you, I'll give it a shot on the next sub.
I'm going to sneak mayonnaise you. You're not going to know what's on there. We'll start with an aioli, and then we'll just slowly integrate on the bread.
So Morgan, tell me about your background and how you became such a marketing, that conversation about mayonnaise. Like you have a creative spirit about you that's really light, really fun, and it definitely is, you can feel it through the brand of Gateway Subs. But where did that come from? Tell me your background.
So we got to go back to my time at Florida State. I was Florida State Seminole. My sophomore year, I was living in my fraternity house. And there were 60 fraternity brothers living in there, big house. And my roommate and I were thinking, how can we provide a product and a service to our fraternity brothers? We'll learn a little something, we'll make a little money, and they're just going to love it. And something that's legal, So we thought of the idea of starting a breakfast cafe. So we would whip up bacon, egg, and cheese bagels, make them in our room within our fraternity house, deliver them to our hungover fraternity brothers' bedside. It wasn't a bed and breakfast. It was a breakfast in bed. People loved it.
Breakfast delivery.
Breakfast delivery, hangover cures. We were notorious in Tallahassee. Those guys knew how to cure hangovers. And we just had so much fun with that. And, that kind of got the entrepreneurial spirits flowing, the little marketing ideas going. We had a little Instagram page, just within the fraternity,
Yeah, it's great.
And then come my junior year, like all great things have to come to an end, my fraternity got kicked off campus. Big surprise. They all do. And I didn't hang out with the kids who got us kicked off. I'm just going to put that out there. Anyway,
you were just feeding them.
I was just feeding them. And I was feeding the guys that they hung out with.
Right.
But anyway, so my junior year, I started a supplement company. Just me and a couple high school friends. One went to University of Florida. One was at UCF at the time. Okay. So I'm like, okay, let's start with some pre-workout. Slap our own label on there. Order 200 units of it. Like, all right, all of our fraternity brothers love lifting weights. They love supplements. They love a shortcut. It's like, all right, let's get this going. Thought it was a genius idea. It wasn't really. I wasn't super passionate about the product, and I just learned so much about marketing from that failure. I thought you start a business that everyone is just going to support you. They're going to use your product, your service. Not the case. College kids, they're kind of broke. $30, that's a lot of beers.
That's a lot of beers.
I mean, back then, probably even now, that's probably like a 36-pack of Natty Lights.
Right.
I don't know, some bottles of Skull, whatever. So, I learned a big lesson there. So then, come senior year, I'm graduating college, going home for spring break. It's March 2020. So I leave for spring break, boom, COVID, don't go back, finish online, and not much. I didn't really have a plan. I knew I was going to start a business of some sort. Every day I had the goal of just writing in my notes app, like a business idea. So for like a couple years, I had these ideas flowing, but ideas are easy, taking actions a little tougher. So, graduated, went back home, living with my mom, trying to figure things out. Started coaching basketball at my high school that I went to. Loved basketball. We'll touch on that later. I was a substitute teacher. They needed some subs. And I'm good at giving people subs, Former substitute teacher turned sub guru. Trying to figure these things out. And I did have a passion for serving people, for food, all that good stuff. And so I thought of an idea, which I still think is pretty smart to this day. Have you ever heard the concept of a ghost kitchen?
Yes.
Takeout, delivery-only restaurant. Yep. All you need is a kitchen.
Yep.
I was like, okay, COVID, basically every restaurant turned into a ghost kitchen because, you weren't allowed to dine in. I'm like, okay, let me find a spot. Just a kitchen, relatively central area in my hometown in Boca Raton, where I can cater to the FAU students. Boca, after 10 o'clock, is a ghost town. But there's 40,000 students that go to Florida Atlantic University. So I'm like, all right, let me build 5 or 6 brands under this one kitchen. DoorDash, Uber Eats, take advantage of those platforms as far as marketing, delivery, and all those things. And okay, genius. Started getting the ball rolling on that while I'm subbing, while I'm coaching basketball. And that's kind of when I reconnected with one of my high school classmates, Grant Strayer. And, him and I became very close in that time during COVID. We'd go paddle boarding, we'd play basketball together, and we were on the same wavelength. We were reading the same books, Think and Grow Rich. That was I think that's the one which really, connected us in that, family bond. And he proposed the idea to me to start a sandwich shop. And I thought that was ridiculous. I'm like, I'm good. Like, start a sandwich shop. Like, I got this ghost kitchen idea coming out. Like, come on. And then, as I was getting the ball rolling with the ghost kitchen, about a month later, things weren't quite taking off. And I called Grant up. He was traveling around at that time. I call him up like, hey, is that offer still on the table to move to St. Pete? I'd love to start Gateway with you. And the craziest thing about that is he did not have St. Pete on his mind. He was looking in Austin, Texas originally. Then COVID happened. He just came over to Tampa for a weekend. It's like, Tampa's the spot. I'm doing it here. So he kind of had Tampa in his mind when he pitched it to me. And then when I said St. Pete, he took that as an omen. Like, oh, let's go visit St. Pete.
So what made you St. Pete?
So when he went to Tampa, he came to Parks and Rec. He had like a crazy day. He just went to Parks and Rec and then went back to Tampa to go to like Burns Steakhouse. He mentioned that on your last podcast. And for whatever reason, St. Pete was just planted in my mind. No idea how, no idea why. And
you just heard him say that through the story.
I just heard him say it.
Yeah, and you thought St. Pete over Tampa.
Yeah, and that was the only time he's ever been to St. Pete. I've never been to St. Pete. And we grew up 3.5 hours away in Boca Raton, which I didn't know anyone from St. Pete other than my pledge master in my fraternity. So when I said that, he's like, okay, let's go check it out. Him and I drove over. First stop was St. Pete Pier. Blown away. I'm like, is this Dubai? Like, this is in Florida? Crazy. And then just walking up and down Central Avenue, all the local businesses, everyone's so welcoming, so friendly. Probably within an hour or two, we're like, yeah, this is it. And then, fast forward about 3-4 months later, we find our first location, Kenwood. A month or two after that, we move here. We move into a house with our other business partner, other co-founders. And, for 6 months or so, as we're, getting ready to open up, we're just making a bunch of sandwiches, made 88 sandwiches and picked the top 8, threw them on the menu.
Did you know at that time that you were going to be dedicated to marketing?
So originally when
you and Grant were talking, because I've heard Grant's side, so your idea, you're coming in, what your entrepreneurial thinking, and I love how you guys got the, Grant is kind of over inside, vision, CEO, you say, you're doing marketing. Remind me your third partner's name.
Brandon. He's more operations,
right? Beautiful.
Yeah.
But that wasn't how it started.
No. So when we got here, it was just like, all right, let's figure out how to run a sandwich shop. Let's figure out, number one, what's the best sub that we can possibly put together? And then number two, how do we just have such a good service that just welcomes anyone in? And how do we replicate that? So year one, I didn't really do any marketing. Grant and I, we went around and passed out some cookies, some like guerrilla efforts of that sort, but there wasn't much there.
You guys were slinging subs.
We were slinging subs. We're grinding day in, day out. And then year two kind of comes around. We open up our Pasadena location. We're like, okay, we need marketing. It's, we did a good job making friends in town for the first one. Now, number two comes around. Now, all right, I'll kind of, take a step out of the shop a little bit, still working in there most days, but, going around to different local businesses, passing out mini subs, cookies. And then I'm like, I really like this. This is fun. And then that summer, one of our college friends' younger brothers, or one of our high school friends, his younger brother, he came and visited us and was my little marketing intern. He shadowed me all summer. We just walked around and passed stuff out. And he made a couple like Instagram, TikTok videos. And at that point, I never did anything of that sort. And we did 2 videos that were pretty funny. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool. So I kind of started taking over the Instagram a little bit. And then when the hurricane hit that flooded, Snell and, back in there pretty good back in 2023, I was just walking around and it was, up to my waist. And I'm like, oh, let me get a video of me walking in the water. And I'm walking in, I'm like, our Pasadena location, we're closed, but Kenwood, we're open. Nothing's stopping me from getting a Gateway sub. And I walk in the water and just, face plant down. You can't tell it's water, but
it's deep.
And exactly. And that video just popped off, went viral. And I'm like, okay, this is fun. Let me,
There's
really
something to this.
Yeah, get this going.
Yeah. All right. So I love the beginning, refresh on the journey there in the beginning days. And now that, so now, I mean, cause you're to go from 1 to 2 is a big feat, but 2 to 6, that's huge, right? And you got to get the word out. So tell me about your marketing strategy now and that. And one, let me just applaud you guys first because something I'm really passionate about with St. Pete is the local business community that's here. And you guys are a staple and the poster child of what it looks like to be able to come to a new town like St. Pete, be welcomed in, however 100 plus partnerships as you mentioned, off the air, and now open and have like a franchise. It's not a franchise, but like multiple 6 locations. That's a testament to great ownership, to great leadership, to your guys' mind, and to a town that really promotes entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And that's really what this show is all about. So it's just awesome to hear that and watch that, especially from 2 locations where we when we did that first episode to now 6. You got it. I'm sure your guys' day-to-day looks a lot different than when you had 1 location.
Yeah, definitely. Some crazy days. I'd say 3 or 4 times a week, I'm in the shop, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. This morning, just before 4 a.m., I'm in there grinding, Catering has been a huge part of our business as of late, and especially breakfast catering too.
Really?
So if anyone needs breakfast catering, I got you. But so this morning we had 2 breakfast catering orders. One was actually to 6th floor, Keller Williams, right here. The B&I group that meets here.
Oh, you
Thursday
guys are here.
mornings.
That's right. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful.
So one was here. So yeah, the day-to-day it's kind of crazy. It's all over the place. I'm always on, but it's always fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can tell you guys are having fun and you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, at this stage. So tell me, like, where do your creative ideas come from? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's your process on that? Okay, hey, we need to make a video, or we need to get, because you guys got signs around town.
Yeah.
You've done some cool video stuff. You do all these collaborations. I'm always curious of the creative process.
Yeah. So one big thing for me where just a lot of the ideas kind of pop up for me, I have a super deep meditation practice, something I've been practicing for 5-6 years, and just keeps growing. And a lot of great inventors, they say when your mind's still, when you're relaxed, and you're not trying to force an idea, ideas kind of come to you. And so that's just a big way that just crazy ideas are always popping in.
So they hit you. You have this eureka moment. Do you write it down? Does it go in your notes?
So in my notes, I have 200 or so video ideas that I'm just kind of like cranking through, and every day more go on there. And like I mentioned, catering is such a big aspect of the business. I don't have as much time to dedicate to, like, if I could, I would just make a video every day, local collaboration every day, and that's kind of what I'm working towards. But just writing them down in the notes, and then just kind of building on it. There was an idea that I executed 2 weeks ago. It's been in my notes for a year and a half, and it's just right time, right place, right person, right collaboration. And not forcing, just following the energy in all aspects of it, especially in local collaborations. Which one thing which I'll kind of harp into, jump away from the creative side a little bit. The local collaborations is just following good people, just following people that want to see you succeed, and vice versa, and people that have products and services that we believe in and want to be a part of. And perfect example, the collaboration we're hammering home right now, Outdoor Group Fitness. You familiar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so typical collaboration with us usually is a social media post and then an event of some sort where we go out and give out mini little subs, something of that nature. It's really good to expose their social media audience to us and vice versa. And then as far as the exposure aspect, just giving out free little mini subs, people try us, they like us, they come in, but we're also providing a service. If someone's having a 3-year anniversary party and Gateway's bringing subs, more people are going to come. So that's kind of like a base layer, typical local collaboration. We've done hundreds of those, like just unreal amount. But I'm trying to, not just be a mile wide, but I'm trying to also be a mile deep with a lot of these collaborations. And like I mentioned, OGF. So for them, we're taking it 20 steps further. So right now, our monthly special is the OGF protein wrap. So anyone who comes into the shop, first thing they see is the OGF protein wrap, inspired by Outdoor Group Fitness. And we're tailoring it to their customers as well. 60 grams of protein. People that are trying to gain muscle, what are they eating?
Let's go.
Beef and chicken.
Yep.
Roast beef, chicken. We got peppers, spinach, chipotle mayo. Really good product on a flour wrap. Nice and light, protein packed. And then it's only $11. We're just trying to offer really good value to St. Pete as a whole, especially in tough times like these. But also on top of that, we offer a 20% discount to all the OGF members. So, we're not just walking them to the door or holding their hand. We're pushing them in.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Yeah.
So, that's first aspect of it. And then another one, we do a sign exchange. So we put one of our Gateway subs, just Google us, yard signs, in their gym. And then they put one of their signs in our gym. Boom, cross utilization, so much exposure for us, for them, great for all parties. And now we've done that a few times with other brands, but what we're doing the furthest right now, how we're going, the hardest with this one, we have about 15,000 orders a month, we'll call it, somewhere in that range, and a lot of bags are going out. There's real estate on those bags. So they just gave me some flyers, little, 3x4, whatever, with a QR code, their logo, and then also, free first class. I'm stapling to all of our bags. So anyone who comes in, they're like, oh, OGF protein wrap. So that's just like an example of what I'm trying to really form these local collaborations into. Monthly special, and then all the other things. And there's so many cool local business owners that I just love. Like, up next is Beachtown Yoga. You had Noah on.
I love them. Noah and Claire are amazing.
They are awesome.
Yep.
I do a lot of events with them, so we're going to get a Beachtown sub of some sort, Beachtown wrap. Not quite sure, but that's just, another great business.
It's beautiful because you're leaning into what is the heartbeat of St. Pete, and that's something I'm so passionate about. And as the city grows, I say it almost every episode of that. This show and what we're doing is like to keep that heartbeat even more alive and to share these stories, right? Because then you become more connected to the brand in a long form podcast to hear, what they're doing and how they're operating. And you guys are just like a bunch of cool dudes that are super smart and just want to feed St. Pete.
Yeah.
And I think I love the collaboration. You and I are chatting after this for sure. The wheels are spinning hard.
Yeah, Talkin St. Pete sub, man. Come on.
Yeah. Well, that bag of the real estate, like there's a lot of stuff there, and as we both continue to grow. So what's the vision now? When the three of you operators, one, I think that's powerful to have a group of three. I'm sure there's some challenging times, disagreements or whatever, but I'm sure there's also more exciting times of things coming together. 6 locations. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, so coming into it, we had very ambitious expansion plans. When Grant pitched this idea to all of us, starting a sandwich shop's a little crazy, but having a lot of sandwich shops, a lot of impact on the community, that sounds pretty cool. Like, all right, sign me up. So, coming into it, we wanted 3 locations in 2 years. We missed that by a week or 2. We were close.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
We wanted 10 and 5. We're not going to hit that. And then 110. So coming into it, very ambitious, which I think you always got to just shoot for the moon. At least you can take a nap on a cloud. And so we wanted just to, like, for me right now, it's not as much the quantity.
No, yeah.
It's more the quality. Personally, I love marketing here in St. Pete. I love diving deep into this community. We have locations in Tampa and Ellenton, but bulk of my time is spent here, and going forward, bulk of my time will be spent here. There's just so much we can do within the community as far as, local collaborations, helping out those in need. And then also there still is a lot of room for growth here in St. Pete. I would love a location in downtown St. Pete at the base of this building or, any of these downtown spots. So, I think just for me, it's just continue to elevate.
Did you guys look at 400?
No. Grant, someone might have reached out to Grant about that, but it never struck a conversation, But, the biggest thing isn't about just mass producing. It's, how do we keep elevating quality every step of the way?
Beautiful answer. I love that.
And right now, our offering is so much more quality across the board than when we first opened. We bake our bison meatballs in-house from scratch. Bison meatball Monday, we get bison. We mix it with grass-fed ground beef, all from scratch, in-house. We make the marinara in-house from scratch. We bake our chicken for our chicken salad, use that chicken broth for that marinara. So it's just like a full circle.
Love that, man.
The cookies,
hungry right now.
Yeah, the cookies we bake in-house from scratch. The cheesecakes we bake in-house from scratch. So it's how do we continue to elevate the quality of our offerings? And obviously the service has to continue to elevate with it. We have so many great team members. And in the restaurant industry, it's unheard of to keep as many people around as long as we have. Like, every manager we had started with us probably like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and they just, worked their way up within the company, and they see the vision. That's the hardest thing about, starting a company, an organization, a business, is selling that vision. How can you get someone as excited about you, about what you're doing? How can you make it what we're doing?
Yeah, so tell me more about that. So not just the vision, but the culture within, right? Because retention and people, I just was sitting with one of my mentors yesterday, and he has staff members that have been with him 20 plus years.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, that's a testament to great leadership.
Yeah.
So when you think about the culture of Gateway Sub, 6 locations, how many staff members estimate?
45 to 50.
45
somewhere
to 50.
in that ballpark.
That's a lot of people. It's a lot of different personalities. What's the culture within Gateway Subs?
So your vibe attracts your tribe. I think that's just such a accurate cliche. I don't view our team members as, workers or employees. They're friends. They're family. We want to treat everyone like how we want to be treated. Even extending to our customers. We have on the wall at our Kenwood location, come as a customer, leave as family. And I have so many good friends that are within the company. One of my good friends, he was my teammate in basketball. I started a semi-pro basketball team last year. He was one of my teammates, and he was doing landscaping, kind of tired of that. Very smart, very hardworking individual. Bam, we need a channel side manager. He's running the show over there. He's killing. He does a great job. Our downtown manager, I call him up like twice a week just to chat. He's just, I love just talking with the guy. He's just funny, And just, same thing with a lot of the people over here, or just about everyone over here in St. Pete. They're all just super friendly, super respectful. And it's one of those things where, if you have such a strong culture and there's someone that comes in that, doesn't replicate, doesn't match that person doesn't want to be involved. You don't want to be told, hey, have a great day, when you don't want to say that to other people. So that's kind of just the biggest thing, just keeping the culture strong, treating everyone right, doing the best we can, and just having fun with it.
Love it. How often do you guys meet as a leadership team?
Once a week, we have all of our managers, assistant managers, founders, co-owners. Once a week, we have a Zoom meeting, which, is good, definitely, but we would like to kind of, extend that to maybe like a monthly or quarterly in person. You could be on Zoom and helping guests. A lot of people are in the shop at that time.
Right.
So once a week, we get on the same page, and it's something we implemented like 2 years ago, and I can't even imagine operating without those meetings.
Right.
Like, how are we gonna, we're doing a lot of fun stuff in town, whether it's offering a discount to this group or new monthly special. Like, how did we get that across accurately? And, I think it just kind of goes hand in hand with the service. It just keeps getting elevated and just keeps getting better. When people meet me, see me, whatever, around town, friends, whoever, and the first thing they say is always, your team members are so nice. That's like the number one. And that's like, okay, yes, good job. Well, everyone's doing great. Let's keep having fun. Let's just keep serving this city the best we can.
Well, you guys both, I'm very impressed. Yeah, I remember sitting here across from Grant going, wow, that is one intelligent dude. And I'm sitting here across from you going, wow, that is one intelligent dude. So, haven't had a chance to meet Brandon, but I can imagine, like, the three of you guys, 1 + 1 + 1 probably equals 20, with the three of you guys together. And you can tell it's really cool. Tell me about being a business owner in St. Pete.
It's unbelievable. It is so cool, especially kind of in the line of business we're in. We're serving the people, and we just make people happy. And everywhere I go in town, I wear my shirt every single day. The amount of people that come up to me is like, hey, I see you on Instagram, or hey, I love your subs. Like, it's unbelievable. Everyone's just a friend. So I love it. The business owner community is so cool. Everyone loves the collaboration, the events. It's just such the perfect spot. Like, this wouldn't be replicatable in 99.9% of places, and we're just so lucky to have stumbled upon St. Pete.
It's phenomenal. I think about, because what you guys are serving, right? Subs. Subs everyone loves a sub, and it's not like, it doesn't matter what. It makes sense that your catering is blowing up. It's easy. Everyone can like it. There's a variation. You're probably looking back at yourself prior to when you thought about the sub shop going, dude, this is a good idea.
Yeah, it's such a marketable product.
Yeah.
Because, I can go to events, I can make the sub, I can have it in my cooler, and it's still really good. It's still a great product. It stays food safe, and it tastes great. It doesn't have to be hot. It doesn't need to be cold. It's just... something that's just easy to sell.
As you were saying, I wear a lot of the same few outfits a lot, but you get to put the same shirt on every day, dude. I'm jealous.
Every single
jealous. Day. That's like a Mark Zuck's, Steve Jobs kind of mentality. That's one less decision you have to make every day. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Love that for you. So when you're not slinging subs, how are you spending your time in St. Pete?
So I keep it all in a pretty close, pretty tight-knit routine. If I'm not slinging subs, I'm playing basketball. 4 times a week or so. I help run a men's league over in Tampa. We just started a division over here in St. Pete.
Cool.
Really good players, former college players, former pros. It's really good, really competitive. So that 4 times a week, play 2 mornings or so a week, and when catering doesn't get in the way, over down at Eckerd College, just great runs there as well. Like I mentioned, super deep meditation practice. That's, every day you can.
When you say super deep, is that an hour, 30 minutes, 20 minutes?
It all depends on the day. Probably 3 to 4 sits per day, 20, 30 minutes.
3 to 4 sits a day.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Okay, all right. So tell me about your practice.
Yeah, so I started practice maybe 5 or 6 years ago when I was, getting out of college around that COVID time. I was hooked on marijuana. That was something I just couldn't get over. And I knew it was something weighing me down so heavily. Just as, every single morning, every single night, just all day, and so that was what helped me put that behind and then just outgrow it. There's no attraction for me there in the slightest. And, just that kind of just got me on the path of meditation. So I've had a few friends who are also practice, and they kind of pointed me in the direction of what's called a Vipassana meditation retreat, 10-day silent retreat.
Did you do this?
I've done 3. Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, went and sat for my first one. It's very tough, very challenging. Awake at 4 a.m. 2-hour meditation. Take a little break. Hour meditation. Take a little break. Hour meditation. Eat. Another hour. Break. Hour. So about like 10 hours of meditation a day. No talking. So you really progress deeply in the technique.
Yeah.
Because
for 10 days.
10 days.
So. Sorry, because this is on my list of things I want to do. Tell me about the difference in the state of mind from day 1 to day 9.
There's a couple aspects to it, but just clarity and then just goodwill for others. Those are kind of the 2 things. You're just so much more relaxed. You're just in a better headspace, so concentrated. Like, when I'm meditating, I'm not really trying to think of ideas. I don't really want ideas to come up.
It's to be present.
Exactly, but and then the ideas do come up, but like I can like kind of pinpoint that aside, and then after the sit, it's like, oh, I remember that idea so clearly when, in my day-to-day life, there's just so
much noise, right?
Thoughts, so much noise, so many ideas. It's tough to execute and keep track of everything.
Are you journaling during the 10 days?
So they recommend no journaling.
Really?
No, so, I stuck with that. But then this 3rd retreat I actually did, I had just so many ideas, and I had a pen, and they give you a little like kind of pamphlet, and I wrote some ideas on there, and they all seem like some great ideas, which a lot of them are pretty good ideas, but like, if I'm going back there, it's dedicated to the practice, not, trying to come up with fun marketing ideas.
Of course, but something pops up.
Yeah.
Interesting. So no notes, there to sit, and where do you go to do this?
So there's over 300 centers throughout the world, completely free, donation-based, which, the proof's in the pudding. If someone comes there, they have an unbelievable transformational experience, and then they just want to give back. They just want to serve. And also, I think, it will attract people that'll go on to do big things, and they're like, okay, how do I, give this forward? How do I keep this going for the other people? All the food's provided for you. You have your own little bathroom. It's like you're in a college dorm. It's a pretty cool experience. But I went to Houston, right outside of Houston, Texas, New Elm, and then right outside of Dallas, Texas, Kaufman.
Okay.
So those are the 2 places I went. I went once as a server, totally different experience. Instead of intensive 10 hours of meditation a day, it's like 3 to 4. You sit for an hour, 3 to 4 times a day, and then you're cooking and cleaning the rest of the time. And that was fun. I really enjoyed that. And I think a lot of my work ethic now comes from doing those things, being able to sit, meditate, being able to cook, clean, just be of service.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and there's, like I mentioned, probably 30 or so in the U.S., 300 throughout the world. There's one up in Georgia. I'm going to try and sneak away to sometime this summer. So,
okay, so 10 days, no phone.
No phone. No, you turn your phone in.
Turn your phone in. Wow, so even just that, like this is a huge disconnect.
Yeah, massive.
Tell me about the. Okay, I don't know. I have like 400 questions.
I got a lot of. I blocked off the whole afternoon.
When you like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I have like 4 thoughts come in, and they just run into each other.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk more about the experience. Let's stay there for a second. So, what's the hardest thing? Like, is it? I mean, and how are you navigating? Like, so you're not saying thank you to no one. Like,
No.
your food just shows up.
So you go, it's buffet style. You kind of serve yourself. But the hardest thing,
Is anyone talking to you?
so there are discourses. There's a teacher there. They guide you through the technique they teach. It's called, so the first 3 days, it's all it is just observing your breath. And you keep refining it to more focused in areas. At first you feel the breath. Then day 2, you're like, oh, you just feel the touch of the breath. Day 3, you feel the touch of the breath under your nostril. And it's crazy just how the power of the mind, just how much you can focus in. And then days 4 to 10, they teach Vipassana, which stands for seeing reality as it is. So while you're sitting, all you're doing is just doing a body scan throughout your body, head to toe, toe to head, for an hour, essentially. And it's one of those things where you can do it super quick, or which they kind of recommend, going super slow. So I could spend an hour just slowly going centimeter by centimeter, and then going in the body, feeling the heart, the lungs, the stomach, and just the connectivity I have with myself, especially after the retreat, but just now that it's in my day-to-day life, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the hardest part, I would say, is the physical part of it. I'm in half lotus sitting.
Lower back.
Lower back. So the month leading into it, I sat for an hour every single day, just in that half lotus. Super challenging, super
How
tough.
about your knees? Lotus kills my knees.
So every day or two, there's something different. It was the most intense knee pain I've ever had in my life. But the next day, I'm fine. It's just, it's.
And you have to sit in lotus.
You don't have to. Whatever's comfortable for you.
Can you have a block?
Yeah, you can. I have a mat. I bring a mat. There's
tuck it under your. No, I need a block or a.
They got blocks. Yeah, they got.
Pillow.
They don't want it
The
to.
meditation pillow or no?
Yeah, meditation cushion. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
If I got a little elevation, I'm all right.
Yeah.
But flat on the floor.
That's brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that hurts.
Yeah, but there's chairs there, and I mean, you can move around here and there.
Yeah.
There's
you doing any yoga or no?
So they recommend nothing. Every morning
Yoga is the preparation of the body to sit.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they say you can stretch out and whatnot, but 5-10 minutes every morning, I was doing some yoga. Yeah, I'm stretching out.
Yeah.
And it's very excruciating, on the physical level, then also on like the emotional, a mental level. Anything that you've pushed down, blocked away,
Showing up.
comes up to the surface. Just the most intense feelings. Anger, sadness, whatever the case may be, kind of come up to the surface. But the whole practice is, when you're observing that pain, you just, you be that observer. And you realize that when you react to the pain on a mental level, it makes it so much worse. So that's how you implement that into your, day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Emotion comes up like, oh, it's just a sensation in the body. It'll rise, it'll pass. I sat for 10 hours a day for 10 days, and I saw a lot of pain that came up. It went away. And it's, embedding that knowing. It's tough to really feel into that. It's it's easy to intellectually be like, yeah, of course, that's true. But actually to know, to truly believe
To watch it go.
Yeah, exactly.
To watch it go. It's just as it came in, you can watch it go out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have my meditation practice is not nearly as good as it once was, and you're inspiring me right now to get back to it. But during COVID, I probably sat 2 to 3 times a day for 30 minutes to an hour.
Oh, hell yeah.
And yoga twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kept myself sane during COVID. I found my spiritual journey, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And so I've watched the thoughts come and go. I use Sam Harris Waking Up app.
Yes.
And so everything you're saying, I'm like, I've experienced that, but I can't like your intensity to keep doing that now is I applaud you for it because it is a practice and it's stuff, but you can tell the clarity that you have and the discipline that shows up. I mean, it's like hitting a workout, right? It's just as important for the mind to remember to do that. I'm curious I'm sure it's just as much, right? Because they say, through meditation you can have these spiritual awakenings or kind of psychedelic experiences almost, but it's the hours and hours and hours, whereas obviously you go and take DMT or ayahuasca, you're going to get there. That's the fast lane.
Yeah.
Have you experienced any ceremonies in that sense to compare the experiences?
No, I haven't.
I'm just curious.
Just intuitively, the draw isn't there for me.
Totally understand.
I've just really, when I find something I'm super passionate about, I go down that lane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've had friends who've great experiences.
Yeah.
Some friends not great experiences,
right.
but Yeah. So no,
I'm
nothing
just
to
curious
compare.
because it comes up in the meditation community, right? Just about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
awareness of and the dissolving of the ego.
Yeah.
That I'm sure you experienced in 10 days of silence.
Yeah, one thing that is comparable of sorts is kind of the relaxation marijuana gives you. You know what I mean? Like you just feel good, life's good. Obviously, you're a little hazy, you can't think it straight. But meditation is kind of all the good stuff, and then all this clarity, these idea, the peace, and then just the direction, how I want to shape my life, what I want to help shape this company into, and just stuff of that nature.
It's beautiful, man. I love that you do that. That's very powerful. That leans into your whole back to what you said earlier, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
Because the mind is, man, it shocks me every day.
Yeah, yesterday I had honestly kind of a crazy-ish experience. So, like I mentioned, I was doing the to-go bag flyers for Outdoor Group Fitness. So I'm sitting there stapling like 50 of these to-go bags. I had like 10 minutes between a catering order. Like, let me just crank some. So that evening, I'm biking along, kind of near North Shore area, a little north there. I'm right along the water. I circle back to find a little bench to meditate on. And like about 50 yards before I get to the bench I'm going to, it's getting dark out, but I see a girl in the middle of the field there, and she has a bag. I'm like, that's a Gateway Subs bag. So I drive over to her. I'm like, oh, is that Gateway Subs? And she's like, oh my gosh, I love the Beast. I get it all the time. Like roast beef's my thing. And I'm like, oh, no way. Like, you should give us a follow on Instagram. And, we just kind of started chatting, and it was just super cool to, me focusing on the bag.
Right.
I see the bag. It's almost dark. I don't know how I would have, saw it.
Yeah.
Then I keep going. I find my bench. I'm sitting there meditating. And in the beginning of the meditation, I like, people walk in conversations. They're fun to, be present, listen to. And,
Yep.
and this guy was like, oh, your brain's an antenna. Like, that's the one thing I picked up from that. And so to kind of bring it full circle here, I'm in a networking group. We meet every Thursday. We do catering for them. And like you do a 30-second presentation every Thursday. And I like to, and someone wins every single week who gets to speak for 60 seconds. I won 2 weeks before, so I got to choose who did the 30 seconds this week. And so I like mimicking what they do, how they do it in their style. So I'm sitting there meditating, and I'm joking you not, the guy who I'm about to mimic him tomorrow, who I thought of like, oh, I'm going to do that. 10 minutes later, I hear his voice talking to like a girl or walking the dog, walks by, and like, I'm like, I don't think, that couldn't have been him. Like they stopped talking when they, walked by me. And then this morning, I'm sitting next to him. He goes, hey, dude, I walked by you yesterday. And I'm like, that was you. No way. He's like, yeah, you just, you look so locked in, and I just didn't want to bother you. I'm like, you could say hi. I don't mind. But
that is, I love that.
Yeah.
And I believe in that so much. And it's so cool. It's so cool that you share that, because as you and I were talking about this, I was thinking of an experience I had this morning. And I just, because we're on this vibe right now, I'll share it. But one of our agents here, Heather, I just haven't seen her in a few weeks. And she's she's like a ball of sunshine when she walks in. Her smile just lights up. She's so happy to see you. And I was getting ready this morning. I'm like, man, haven't seen Heather in a while. That was the only thought. That was it. Sitting here today, I hear her voice. Here she is. Comes in the office, and she sat she sat and we just caught up for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Your antenna, antenna.
It was beautiful, man. It was one of those things where I was like, how do you explain that?
Yeah, you can.
Right? It's one of, like, is it coincidence? I don't think so. I haven't thought of Heather any other day.
Yeah.
And the day I think of her, here she is.
Yeah.
To your point, that guy, you're thinking about the thing, and boom, there he is.
Yeah. It's just, one of those things. It's the power of the mind. Whatever you think about, whatever you focus on, that's what you
got to
draw
be
in.
careful, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I catch is like any little bit of limiting belief, negativity, story. One thing I'm really working on personally is the story of myself, right? Because that's part that creates self-identity.
That's everything,
right? And then ego's attached to that identity, but that's attached to the story we're telling ourselves.
Yeah.
And so that story is so powerful because that's the story that we're living.
Yeah, and that's why I think the meditation's so powerful, because you become present and you become the story, not the observer, or not
you're the observer of the story. You're the narrator now.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You can narrate instead of just being, told what's happening. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's dude. I'm back on. I gotta lock back in and add that back to the routine, because
I'll send you a guided meditation every day. I have a list of friends, just a 5-6 minute, just like a little something
Dude, I
to
would
get
love
you
that.
going. Okay,
Like this. Like as you're sitting here talking. The one thing I love about podcasting in this moment, like it's not often in our day we get to sit eye to eye with somebody and have a deep, intentional conversation with no interruptions.
Yeah.
Right? There's no bird coming by. There's no server bringing us a new drink. There's no like we're in one continuous flow of thought here, and I love that, and I'm so grateful for it. So really, dude, I appreciate you. And one because it's like I vibe with a lot of people that sit here, but it's like sometimes we're like very intentional of our questions and the flow though. And I tell people, I'm like, it's better when we just flow.
Yeah.
You know, because great things come out of that.
Yeah, that's life in general. You know, you have such a set plan, what I'm gonna do, and then boom, just you got to follow the energy. You know, I had no idea I was gonna be moving to St. Pete, starting a sandwich shop. Like, just such a ridiculous thought. You know, I thought I'd be, you know, a real estate developer. I studied finance and real estate.
Is that what you went to school for?
Finance, yeah. And then I didn't want to graduate a year early, so I'm like, yeah, I'll throw real estate in there. And it wasn't on the diploma, and I didn't, you know, argue with it. I knew I wasn't really. I didn't apply to a job.
You're very creative. I mean, you can get creative in finance, sure, but like your even the puns that you have right now and your energy, it's very creative, and you can tell you're leaned into that. And like I said, you can feel it through the brand. It's really cool, and I'm excited that the city hasn't topped out yet.
No.
And so as the city continues to grow, your depth will continue to happen as the city grows organically, just because of the way you guys show up.
And yeah, one thing, like I'm trying to build like a team of the marketing folks around me so we can, you know, a lot of people say, you're everywhere. Now we're literally gonna be everywhere. If I got like 3-4 other individuals that, you know, spreading that same vibe, you know, going to these events, having fun. So it's just really cool to see there's so much growth that we can do, so many organizations that we can be involved with and that we can help. And same with, you know, people that we can help.
Yeah, no, there is. There's a lot. I mean, and I already have some, like, it's funny because a lot of my day is around strategy and leverage with real estate agents. And so, and a lot of my things that we talk about can be applied to any business. And so when I hear about operations and back end stuff, I'm like, well, why don't we have this happen and this happen to free up your time here to do more of that? Like, I'm thinking with you right now, and so I can't wait to jam once we're off air on some of that stuff. What has you most excited? Here's a good question. If you got to ask the mayor of St. Pete, no, don't put a person, just the person who holds that position, any question, what would it be?
It's a loaded question.
It's hard.
That's a tough question to come up with a question for. Any question.
I know it's tough, and I thought I'd put you on the spot.
Probably like, what can we do to better the education from a very young standpoint? How can we instill meditation practice? How can we instill nutrition in these schools? Teach kids how to cook. I didn't learn how to cook till I was off in college. First time I ever cooked, I put Pam on the bottom of I put Pam on the bottom of the pan. And I was cooking eggs. I'm like, why is it sticking? And my sister's like, you didn't put Pam? I'm like, yeah, I put it on the bottom. And she's like, are you an idiot? I'm like, I don't know. No one taught me.
Didn't know left from right.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's a good story, man. That's hilarious.
So, you know, just instilling these things that I've learned that have just, you know, helped me so much. You know, how can we go into these schools and have a impact from a younger age?
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things when you're trying to help the homeless, things like that. It's how do we help people not go down the drug route, not go down. I think that's a much more effective route, prevention rather than, you know, you gotta do something now.
Right. Yeah. Too late.
Yeah.
Too late. No, I love that. That's great. You know, with him coming on soon. That's
really cool.
I'm thinking of the questions that I want to ask. So that's really great. Okay, so you're out playing basketball. You're out meditating on benches. You welcome people to come say hi to you while you're doing that.
Yes, come say hi.
Yeah.
It's happened a bunch now where I don't really get too startled. You know, just say hey. Yeah. Or sit down next to me. I've had friends.
You probably know they're coming
down.
as you're right because you're so locked in on the awareness of everything around you that. Yeah, no, that's great. Tough. I ask every guest though this question. Gateway Subs for some reason is not here in town. It's just we're in an alternate universe. You have to go eat somewhere for your birthday.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I'm going my own kitchen. I cook just about every single meal. I love cooking. But let's, to play the fun of the game. Let's say my kitchen got burned.
Kitchen's closed, yeah.
I love rolling oats. I'm in there every single day. They got a cool little cafe area.
Yeah.
They got some smoothies, some little plantains that I absolutely love that I'm trying to replicate how they cook them.
Oh,
it's
cool.
It's just so good. It's so soft, so flavorful. And I've been cooking plantains almost every day for the past couple of months. Trying to figure it out. Can't quite figure it out. And I ask them, they tell me, I'm like, that's not what you're doing. I'm doing that.
Right.
But I love rolling oats. Such a good staple in St. Pete. Do you frequent?
No.
Have you been?
Yes, one time.
Okay, nice. Let's make that 1,000.
Yeah.
I know all the cashiers in there. We always have great conversations. They're all so cool. The owner, I see him walking around. He's this older gentleman, and anytime I see him in there, he always pulls me aside, gives me a little business advice. He's like, hey, leasing is cool, but you got to own your properties.
You got to own your building.
You got to own your building.
Yeah.
So I love rolling oats. That's my favorite food grocer in St. Pete.
Love it. I'll let you off the hook on that one. Anything else you want to talk about regarding anything that we didn't talk about that you want to?
We covered a lot.
Yeah.
I did print out.
Yeah, let's go through that.
A little sheet of all the collaborations, different businesses, organizations, charities that we've been a part of, and it's such a wide range of groups that we can collab with anyone. So if you're listening to this, we want to collab with you. We've done gyms, yoga studios, chiropractor's office, grocery stores. It's just such a wide range thing. Comedy shows, Spitfire Comedy, they had me on as a guest. And then Breaking and Entering Comedy, if you know Bobby Levine and Eli from the Sunrise Crew, their Christmas or their holiday show, I was the guest. I was on there for 5 minutes, had a bunch of fun. So that was really cool. Pelican Boat Tours, Pitch a Friend, Kalamazoo Olive Oil Company, like Nelson Aguilar, the NFL football player. We collabed with him. We threw on a little football camp. We brought out 500 subs for the kids. It was just such a fun time. So just doubling down on that community involvement, and anyone out there, we want to collab with you. And how typical collaboration works. Just reach out on Instagram, shoot me a DM. I'm always monitoring all that.
This?
Yeah, it's all you.
Yeah. Dude, that's a great list. It's a great list. I know many of the companies on there. Some I don't. So it's pretty cool.
Check it out. I only work with good people too.
Yeah.
So it's
that's what
guys.
Again. I mean, we've heard this, but that's just what makes the town so cool. Is that one here? You have a list of 150 businesses, and there's more.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so many more that are still on the list.
But it's like, I haven't lived anywhere where the local community is this strong.
Yeah.
And that's so special.
Yeah.
Because you can't replicate. No. Like I don't like going to other towns, city, and it's like, there's always that highway where it's like everything looks the same. You don't even know what state you're in.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same. You see the McDonald's, the Chipotle, the mattress warehouse, the Home Depot, the whatever. Like it's all the same stuff.
Yep.
Applebee's, Starbucks, like it's all right. That you're like, where am I? I don't know. It looks like everywhere else.
Yeah.
Hate that.
Yeah.
And you come into the heart of St. Pete, and you don't see any of that.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I'd love to see some statistics on that. Like what % of businesses in St. Pete are local compared to somewhere else.
Yeah, and even our, because the few franchises that are here, most are locally owned.
Yeah,
which I think is good.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, Morgan, this has been great, dude. We and I mean, there's probably a bajillion avenues we could talk on.
Yeah.
We could keep going on all the things, but I think you nailed it home. I'm so excited. I can't wait to have you guys back again.
Yeah, let's go.
We'll definitely do that and see where we're at and where St. Pete's at, where the business is at. Yeah, I'm really grateful for you.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate what you guys are doing for the town, because you help. Like, there's always a few businesses that are kind of the glue in between everyone, right? And when you see the Gateway Subs partnered with this many businesses, you're like, oh, well, now I like that business.
Yeah.
I want to check them out. And it just, you guys are the glue with subs.
Yeah, the mayo holds it together. Come on.
I love that we started this out with me hating on mayo, and now here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are, man. I love it. Appreciate you. So for the listeners that are still with us, what's one word that they can comment below? The secret word.
Mayo.
Mayo.
Yeah,
I knew
there we
that's what,
go.
I knew
There
that's
we
what
go.
you're going to be.
I was gonna say love, but I'm like, oh no,
It's mayo.
Yeah,
It's
we go.
mayo.
It's synonymous.
Go check out Gateway Subs. Check them out on Instagram. Your handle is...
Gateway.subs. It could be the best decision you've made on Instagram in ever.
It would definitely be the best decision. Go get a sub. Go check out all the creativity that these guys have. Go support local businesses. Appreciate you. Love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.